I see you. What are you doing? What are you doing? You've been waiting for me? It's week 5. It is week 5. That's 4 weeks that you've just been rocking it. Every single day you've been practicing, you've been making magic happening, you've accepted things, you've went into your past. Last week was probably pretty rough, and I'm proud of you. I am super duper proud of you for rocking it, for sticking with it, for practicing, for developing, for looking at the situations, for diving deep into your past. That's rough stuff. A lot of times we we give up as soon as it starts to get a little rough, and that's not what you do. That's not what we do. We practice moving forward. Week 5. This is 10x your success. You know what that means? This is what I work with people like CEOs, entrepreneurs, right? 10xing your success. It means you've achieved so much so far. How do you take it to the next level? In this module, module 5, we are 10xing your success. What does this even mean? Now, writing the code. I talk about this in every single module, what practice is. Now that you're practicing incredibly powerful techniques that are literally transforming your life, you're paying attention to your thoughts, you're doing healthier things, you're making more magic happen, you're seeing more results. We want to talk about what writing the code actually is. But before that, we're going to drink our water. If you don't have your water, get it! Get your shirt down below, get a hat. If you need your reminders, do something. We want to get good at drinking water. We want to reward ourselves every single time we have a good thought, there's a good idea, we feel something new. We want to write the code that is going to reward us with something that's going to move us forward. This is where it starts to get a little heavy, okay? Last week was heavy, but this is more the physicality. So we're going to spend a little bit more time in this. It's going to be super duper fun. I'm really excited. I'm stoked to see your results. Definitely leave a comment below and let me know how this is changing your life. Help the people that are coming in. Let them see what you recognize so they can maybe have that thought. With that said, we're going to drink. Let's get moving. Boom. You did it. Already successful. Let's talk about writing the code. Your process is different, but the repetitions are the same. The more you repeat a thought, an action, a reaction, a response, or a practice, the deeper the neurological code is written. Think of it like a tattoo. I want you to think of this. We look at people who are talented and go, whoa, that's like magic. Whoa, they're doing this thing. Whoa, it's so easy for them. They make it look easy. The reason why a lot of people look at me and go, it's impossible, is because I make living my own life super easy. It means that I've practiced being me for an extremely long time, over 10,000 hours. That's how I'm a master coach. Now I want you to look at it like a tattoo. I've got a tattoo right here, got another anxiety hacker tattoo right here. I want you to think of this, your process, the way you interpret information, the way you move through life, the systems and processes that work for who you are not the same as the processes that work for me. These are the fundamentals. These are the core values, the core perspectives that you apply to yourself. You might be able to share this information with somebody and they go, oh, I can do that, but in my way. This is why I don't want you to bank on there's only one way. As a matter of fact, most of our life, we've been told there's only one way to get healthy, one way to get success, one way to think, one way to have an emotion. This is our auto response. That's our programming. Well, every time we repeated that thought, that tattoo gets a little bit deeper. Every time we repeat that practice, like drinking water, like thinking about water, like doing this thing, that code, that tattoo is deeper in your mind. The more time you spend focusing on who you are, understanding you, repeating those healthy thoughts, your affirmations, pointing out the things you like in the world, pointing out the things you love about yourself and the things you love about other people, the deeper that signal is, the deeper that tattoo is. This is why they call it burning it into your mind. Burn it into your mind. That repetition. Boom. Tattoo it. What are you tattooing in your mind? So many of us have scars. We look down and go, I want to cover that up. I don't like the memory. It's because you thought about this 1,000 times, and then one, plus some, and then a little bit more. And that scar gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it will continue to get deeper if we continue to think about it with a knife. Do you understand? Where I'm going with this is, this goes back into reliving the past. If we keep digging at this scar with a knife, we're making the wound deeper. Now that you understand that, we also have to think about that in repetition of thought and action. You're writing the code. You're programming your new self, this version of you, in a healthy way. Someone that doesn't think about alcohol. And if they do, they're not digging the memory out with a knife. They're looking at that as something that long gone, something that used to be, that habit that never was, the habit that you had the experiences with and you learned from. You're practicing reliving something you don't want in a healthy way. The more you do that, the easier life feels. Everything is a feeling. Everything is a feeling. So I want you to think about this. Every time you're doing something, if you're doing it more than once, you're repeating it. If you repeat it more than a few times, then it's a habit. You're developing a habit. Ask yourself this question, even right now. What am I practicing? What are you practicing right now? Are you practicing showing up for yourself? Are you practicing caring about who you are? Are you practicing caring about your future? Are you taking care of you so you can take care of others? What are you practicing right now? The more clarity you get with what you're practicing, the more understanding you have over your actions, and the more power you have when you're choosing to take in new information, new actions, new healthy things. Because you got to remember this. You've practiced hurting yourself up until the point of the bad habit. Now you're practicing serving yourself. You're practicing taking care of you. If you weren't good at it, you wouldn't be here. You're not even allowed to skip to this. You had to go through everything else just to get here. You had to put in the work. You've practiced for weeks, and now you're here. You're the best at taking care of you. The proof is that you can hear the words coming out of my mouth right now. How magical is that? Seriously, how powerful is that? That's incredible. I'll drink to that. You're rocking it. Get it. Code written deeper. Drink water. Moving forward. There's no magic number of repetitions before you're fixed, quote unquote. Typically it takes between 63 and 64 repetitions before a new groove is written in your brain. Each groove is a new pathway. Some people write them earlier than others. You got to remember this. If someone has practiced studying specific behavior or specific technique, say someone has been playing basketball for a long time, they've written the code. They've practiced. They've literally written the groove in their brain with basketball. They understand the dribbling. They understand this stuff. So if you give them a soccer ball, they have an understanding of how to kick that soccer ball. As a matter of fact, their first instinct is to pick it up because that's what they're familiar with. Then they're actually rewriting the code because they've practiced practicing. Then they're looking at that soccer ball going, oh, I could do this. It's the same as basketball. It's just backwards. I get it. So when you see someone else do that stuff, I had trouble with this my whole life because people thought that I was showing off. And in reality, I was just good at learning. This is why, to this day, I say, don't give me your thing because I'll do it better. It means that I've studied the way that I learn. And I know the series of processes that my brain goes through before I understand a thing. Once I understand a thing, I've also practiced following through. So with that said, don't give me your thing because I'll do it better. I'll do it faster. That's not an insult. That's a fact. Unless I'm not interested. If I'm not interested, I will not give it my full attention. But when I do, I make magic happen. How do you think we're here? I had to learn all these different things. I had to put in the time, not just understanding myself, but I had to practice building programs. I had to practice delivering information, practice developing a curriculum, practice looking at you right now. I had to practice all of these things. This is the result of something I've done hundreds of thousands of times. In the same way that you may have been repeating this over here, so you're really good at that, good or bad, right? Now from a scientific standpoint, all those grooves in your brain, those are like pathways, okay? All of those grooves, Those get there because of the pathways we've created through learning. That's what you're doing right now. Your brain, your mind is opened up and it's receiving new information. So each one of those grooves, it takes about 63 to 64 repetitions of anything before a new groove is written. Now, if you look at each groove as something new that you've learned, then think of what your brain might look like right now and what those pathways might actually be. Anger, depression, anxiety, rerunning the past, reliving the past, emotion, distress. We've practiced that for so long, our brain is grooved with all of that information. Now, there's still space. There's tons of space. There's so much space in your brain and your mind. We're writing new grooves. Now, I say this because someone like myself, I've been practicing longer, so I will get results sooner than someone who hasn't been practicing at all. I work with new people all the time, and the basic stuff is very difficult to them because they haven't practiced understanding this information yet. It's brand new information. And for me, I might sit here and go, dang, this is really basic stuff. It's obvious to me because I practice it, because I know it. It's like writing with your left hand or your opposite hand. Some people who have practiced with both. I'm training both my hands now, but I'm still weak on my left, so I'm starting to eat with my left just to write the neurological code of going, this is how it's done, this is how it's done, this is how it's done. That's practice. Same goes with thoughts. So you may have opened up the whole universe 2 modules ago, and someone won't get anything for another month from now. That's why we practice. That's why we come back. That's why I encourage you to go back through module 1 when you're done. Once you've graduated through this, once you've got your certificate and you're set and you're good and you're glowing and everything's magical, do it again. When you're bored, you're gonna learn more. Now you've opened your mind up even more to be more receptive to the things you missed in module 1. This is why when I'm not doing anything, I put on information like a documentary, like a mentor, and I'll listen to it, and then the things that get my attention are the things I missed the first time. They make sense to me now, but I had to absorb that information prior. This is why the program doesn't unlock unless you've completed everything prior to that. You can't just skip to this module and expect to understand it without understanding everything else prior. That same concept goes with life as well. You've got to go through the process so you can understand the new information. Isn't it magical how that works? It's so it's so simple. It's so simple. It's as simple as drinking water. Cheers. Cheers on that one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Moving forward, the deeper you practice, the deeper the code is written. The harder, the deeper. The more you practice, the more the pathway is written. The deeper the pathway, the stronger you become with anything you practice. I want you to think of like a groove, like a scar. Remember I was talking about the brains? The deeper you practice. Now, when I say deeper, I mean the harder it is. When I'm up in the gym and I'm doing these like aerobatic whatever, I'm on one foot, I'm sideways. I'm holding an 18-pound ball on this hand, a 5-pound ball on this hand. I'm on one foot and I'm on, this other thing. I'm intentionally making my life more difficult so I could learn how to create balance in a really awkward way. So that way when something really simple happens, I'm just like, oh, I'm used to struggling like this and like this and like this and upside down. Simply walking the line is the easy stuff. We're going to spend more time doing the easy stuff than we are in the complicated stuff. So this is why you look at information. I don't care if you're drawing a picture, if you're just having a conversation, if you're just listening to new information, if you're practicing, it doesn't matter. The deeper you practice, it's called living on the edge of your ability. You know what it's like for you to take it to 10. What's it like for you to push it to 11? Doesn't mean go jump off the roof. It means that 2 feet off the ground may feel like a really high height if you've never been up 2 feet off the ground. That's living on the edge of your ability, what you're capable of. And the coolest part about that is as you practice living on the edge of your ability, which is what you're doing right now. If you're listening to this information, you've never heard it before, then this is living on the edge of your understanding of yourself, of the universe, of everything. You're obtaining new information and you're fighting it. You're understanding. You're like, I get what he's saying. I understand it. I understand the words. Maybe I don't understand absolutely everything, but you're right here with me. And so that's being written deep into your mind. You're practicing deeply because it's not easy. Eventually, when you go back through this, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, because you practice all the hard stuff. Interestingly enough, you'll hear me say that a lot, is we think everything has to be difficult. If everything has to be difficult, then what's the point of simple? It's like human beings. We intentionally make things so much more difficult than it needs to be just so we could feel accomplished. It's not that difficult. We just make it difficult. We've been told forever, since the beginning of time, that it's not that simple. It literally is as simple as drinking water. And you know this because you're here. You're just doing it again, doing it again, doing it again. Come back, do it again, do it again, do it again. Try it, do it again, come back. You're not failing, remember? You're learning. You're either winning or learning. So just do stuff. Practice what makes sense to you. Your love for yourself is what makes you talented at what you practice. Talent is made from love that's physically represented with an element called myelin. Myelin is instrumental in learning. That skill is built by methodically breaking down actions into component parts and perfecting them. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. There's a book, I'm going to leave a link right here, called The Talent Code. This is how I learned that I was a master coach, that I am a master coach, and I will forever be a master coach. There is a chemical, right? And I want you, remember I was talking about scarring? There is a chemical called myelin. That pathway that you've written over and over and over and over, like basketball, okay? That pathway is there. Myelin is basically the wrapping. So you've got the cable, you've got the connection, you've got the pathway, but then it needs a coating. That coating wraps around. It can wrap 50 times. So think of it like wrapping paper. You're wrapping something up. It's getting thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker, right? The more wrapping that signal has, the bigger, the stronger it becomes. So think about this. If you took a basic stick and then wrapped it with paper and paper and paper like 100 times, it's now a weapon. That's what talent is. Talent is the strength of that pathway. So if we continue doing the same things, strengthening that pathway, we get the same results. Now I want to turn this into an actuality. What is talent made from? Think about this. If you love yourself, and you do, and the amount of love you feel is generated from within, and when you love something, you do things you don't necessarily like, and you continue to do the things you don't necessarily like because you love yourself, you get good at doing the things you don't like. This means the pathway that you create to the things you don't like is built from the amount of love you have for yourself. Your future, you're literally designed from love. Myelin, this specific element, is produced based on the amount of love you have for yourself. The amount of myelin that you've written in your body up until week 5 is astronomical. There's more myelin in your system right now than ever before. This may be why you're going, whoa. You're strengthening the connections stronger. The connection might be there. You might just have this connection, but what's happening is you're fluxing this thing and you're getting stronger. Now this is made from love. This is why you keep showing up for you. This is why you keep practicing. This is why the more love you have for you, the more you do what's right for you. And if you contrast that against how that unhealthy habit has been contributing to how much you love yourself, you could probably understand why you keep on doing it. But that's not what we're doing anymore. That's not a necessity. That condition was built from the illusion of love. Now you're actually starting to recognize the amount of love you actually have. That's power. That is unstoppable information. I'm so proud. Like, this is important. This is power right here. I'm going to drink to this. Good job. Holy crap. There's no limit to how deeply you can write the code. The more love you have for yourself, the more you practice being who you want to be. Why do you think I keep telling all you guys? Just keep doing it. You can't write a code too deeply. Unless it's something bad for you, you can practice too deeply, something that's not moving you forward. But you can't practice loving yourself too much. You can't write the code and fail. Not if it's built from love. So what's stopping you from practicing loving you? What has stopped you before? That's not even there, because you don't accept the things that don't help you love you, right? You're not accepting anything that isn't contributing to your happiness, your success, or your abundance. You've got those healthy boundaries, and you're putting those things up. No, I know that if you overstep this, it's going to mess with my practice. You're practicing becoming a better version of you. That's why you're here. That's why it's so powerful. That's the beautiful part about living life, is you can write this code as deeply as you want. And on top of that, this is also why I tell you to share your success and happiness with everybody else. Because that's mastering the love you have for yourself. That's mastering the code. You've written it, now you get to teach it. Now you get to talk about it. Why do you think I'm an educator? It's because I know it, I've taught it, I've practiced it. It makes sense. It's who I am. It's not just something I know, it's literally who I am. I'm not saying anything I don't think, believe, feel, and understand. You're inside my mind right now. We're in each other's world. If I could think it, you're thinking it. Drink what? Proof. Whose voice was that in your head when you said water, by the way? Is that yours? Whose voice just told you to drink water? Did you finish it? Was it my voice? Or was it you? Did it sound like your voice that said water just now? Or did it sound like me? If it sounded like me, you gotta start listening to yourself more. Man, that's powerful. I love this. You're amazing. With that said, I'm gonna sip one more time, and then I'm gonna move on. Not forever. We're gonna take it one step further, but we're gonna cheers first. Thank you. You're amazing. Let's make magic on the next video.